Feeling that weight? That doubt that won't leave you, that stays with you in the quiet of the night, in the middle of the day, staring back at you in the mirror. It's about her, isn't it? About the relationship, about the future. A chilling uncertainty. Is it real love? Is it just attachment? Is this the right path, the path you should be on? And the question that gnaws at you, that paralyzes you, what if this person, this woman by your side, just simply isn't the right person for you? The mere possibility hurts. It's a punch to the gut, a lump in your throat. It's terrifying. It's paralyzing, leaving you stuck, not knowing where to go, what to feel, what to think. You try to rationalize, try to feel, try to ignore, but the doubt comes back like a relentless tide. What if I told you there's a way to cut through that fog? A compass, forged not in the latest trends of cheap self-help, but in centuries of wisdom, proven by emperors, on their thrones and slaves in their chains. A philosophy capable of giving you the clarity you so desperately seek, of revealing the raw truth, no sugarcoating, but which, instead of breaking you, leaves you stronger, more centered, more prepared to face anything life or your relationship throws your way. Get ready, because what we're about to explore is how Stoicism, this school of thought that values reason, virtue, and resilience, can be exactly the tool you need to navigate this crucial question. To understand not just if she is the right person for you, but even more importantly, if you are being the man you should be, true to yourself, aligned with your deepest values, capable of making decisions based on reason and not a whirlwind of emotions. Yes, the path isn't easy. There will be resistance, a lot of it, inside you, outside you, distractions, fears. It's a 30-day journey, a deep immersion in principles that have shaped minds and souls throughout history. The reward? Unshakable inner peace, founded on reason, virtue, and a clear understanding of what truly matters. A clarity that seemed impossible now within your reach. Okay, take a deep breath. The first step on this journey, the first contact with this inner fortress you didn't even know you possessed, is to acknowledge the chaos. Look inside, feel the turbulence, the confusing feelings, the expectations that weren't met, the ones you projected onto her, the ones you expected of yourself, the raw pain of uncertainty, that thing that weighs on your chest. All of this internal disorder, prevents you from thinking clearly. It clouds your ability to judge, to see things as they truly are. The fundamental premise of Stoicism, the basis of everything, is simple, yet incredibly difficult to apply. The only thing in this vast universe that is truly under your control are your own judgments, your opinions, your desires, your aversions, your deliberate actions. Everything else is outside your direct domain. Her actions, outside your control. Her opinion of you, outside. The future of the relationship, outside. What the future holds for you, outside. Ignoring this distinction, this clear line between what is ours and what is not ours, is the primary source of much human suffering. That's why you suffer when she does something you didn't expect, because you're trying to control her action with your expectation. That's why you suffer with the uncertainty of the future, because you want to control something that, by definition, cannot be controlled. To begin to untangle this confusion, you need basic tools, anchors for your mind, which tends to drift in the choppy sea of emotions and worries about the uncontrollable. Let's start with two simple but powerful things. The first, time to focus. It could be a mindfulness timer app, something that forces you to stop for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, not to meditate in a mystical sense, but simply to be, to observe your breath, to observe your thoughts without judging them. Simply observe, like clouds passing in the sky of your mind. Okay, I'm thinking this. I'm feeling this. That's what it is. Without fighting against it. Without clinging to it. Simply observing. This practice, though short, begins to create distance between you and your thoughts and emotions. You are not your anger. You are not your doubt. You have anger. You have doubt. Small difference, but giant in its impact. The second tool, a structured writing model, a simple template for writing, but it's not just any writing. It's writing focused on separating facts from interpretations. Take a recent situation, something that caused you discomfort in the relationship. Write fact. What happened objectively? What was said or done in a way that an impartial video camera would record? Now write interpretation, judgment. What did you think about the fact? What meaning did you assign to it? What story did you tell yourself about what happened? And then, emotion. What emotion arose from this interpretation? Anger, sadness, fear, insecurity? You'll begin to see a pattern. The fact itself is usually neutral. It is your interpretation, your judgment about the fact that generates the emotion. And the emotion, in turn, reinforces the judgment. It's a vicious cycle. Breaking this cycle begins with the clarity of seeing its parts. Fact, interpretation, emotion. The golden rule in this universe of learning, this initial immersion into your own mind, is this. Every activity of self-knowledge, every attempt to apply these principles must begin with a moment of pause, of focus, a moment to anchor your mind before trying to navigate it. Without this pause, without this anchor, you will be swept away by the current of your thoughts and emotions. It's like trying to repair a boat on the high seas during a storm, without stopping to breathe and assess the situation. Impossible. So start like this. Small moments of focus, structured writing, separating the chaff from the wheat in your mind, facts from the fictions you create yourself. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The resistance, oh, the resistance will come. Your mind will say, this is nonsense, this won't solve anything. I just need her to change, I just need certainty. I just need things to go back to how they were. That's the voice of attachment, of fear of the uncontrollable. Stoicism doesn't promise you will control the uncontrollable. It promises you will control yourself in the face of the uncontrollable. And that is true freedom, true strength. Think about it. How many times have you felt powerless because of someone else's actions, because of a situation you couldn't change? That feeling of powerlessness is the direct result of trying to control what is not yours to control. Stoic practice returns the power over your own mind, over your reactions, over your choices. It's not about becoming indifferent, far from it. It's about directing your energy where it can truly make a difference, inward, to the development of your character, your reason, your virtue. And this is where the journey begins to deepen. What does it mean to develop character and virtue in the context of an uncertain relationship? It means, first of all, applying the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom for the Stoics is not just knowledge. It is the ability to distinguish good from evil, the useful from the useless, what is under our control from what is not, and crucially, the ability to see reality as it is, without the distorted lens of desire or fear. In your relationship, this means looking at the dynamic between you with brutal honesty, without deceiving yourself, without minimizing problems or idealizing qualities. It means using reason to evaluate real compatibility, not the compatibility you wish existed. It means questioning your own motives. Are you with her out of love or fear of loneliness, out of genuine admiration or convenience? For a future you are building together, or for an image of a future you built in your head and projected onto her? These are difficult questions. The mind, by nature, avoids discomfort. It prefers comfortable illusion to painful truth. That's why journaling focused on facts and interpretations is so vital. It forces you to confront your own internal narratives. It forces you to see, okay, the fact is, she said X. My immediate interpretation was that this meant Y, which made me feel Z. But is Y really the only valid interpretation? Is there another way to see this that is more aligned with reality, less based on my fears or insecurities? This constant practice, day after day, begins to weaken the hold of your automatic, emotion-laden interpretations. It trains your mind to pause, to question, to seek objectivity. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it hurts when you start using it. It will hurt to see that maybe your own insecurities are coloring your perception of her and the relationship. It will hurt to see that maybe you are projecting expectations onto her that no real person could fulfill. But this pain is the pain of growth. It is the necessary pain for healing. And while you work on wisdom, courage comes into play. Courage for the Stoics is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act rightly despite fear. In your case, the courage to face the truth that wisdom begins to reveal. The courage to have difficult conversations with yourself and with her. The courage to accept uncertainty as an inherent part of life and relationships. The courage to perhaps discover that the right path is one you didn't want to take. That clarity can point you in a direction that takes you out of your comfort zone. This courage is forged in daily practice, not in grand heroic acts, but in the small moments. The courage to sit down and do the journaling even when you don't want to. The courage to observe your uncomfortable thoughts during focus practice without turning away. The courage to be honest with yourself about what you really feel and think, even if it's ugly or scary. Think of the Stoic emperors, like Marcus Aurelius, facing the pressures of the empire, the betrayals, the wars. They weren't emotionless supermen. They were men who trained their minds to act with reason and virtue in the face of chaos. They practiced the courage to accept what they could not change and the courage to act virtuously where they could. You are facing your own battle, on the battlefield of your heart and mind, with the future of your relationship at stake. Courage here is your armor. It is the willingness to fight for your own clarity and inner peace, even when your instincts beg you to run, to hide in the fog of denial or empty hope. And as you cultivate this courage, the virtue of justice manifests itself. Justice, in the broader Stoic sense, is treating others with fairness and benevolence, and yourself as well. In the context of your relationship, this means being fair in your evaluation of her. She is a complete person with her own flaws, virtues, fears, and desires. She does not exist only in relation to you or your needs. To be fair is to recognize her humanity, to recognize that she also has her own struggles, her own uncertainties, and to be fair to yourself. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. You deserve a relationship that is based on truth and mutual respect, not on illusions or dependence. Justice to yourself means honoring your own values. If Stoic clarity shows you that your fundamental values do not align with hers, or that the dynamic between you consistently violates principles of respect and growth, being fair to yourself might mean making a difficult decision, not out of selfishness but out of integrity, out of justice to the person you are and the person you aspire to be. And finally, temperance, the virtue of self-mastery, the ability to moderate your desires and aversions. It is temperance that prevents you from being swept away by emotional highs and valleys of despair. It is temperance that helps you stay calm and rational when uncertainty tightens its grip. It is temperance that allows you to observe the overwhelming desire for certainty, for control, for an immediate answer and say, no, I can tolerate this uncertainty. I can act with reason despite it. It is temperance that helps you deal with aversion to pain, discomfort, fear, the aversion to discovering that maybe things are not as you wanted them to be. Temperance teaches you to tolerate the discomfort necessary for growth. It helps you find a point of balance, not being indifferent, but not being a slave to your passions, not closing yourself off to love, but not losing yourself in it to the point of sacrificing your own peace and integrity. These four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, are not abstract concepts. They are living tools. They are the structure of the inner fortress you are building. And every practice you do, every moment of focus, every entry in your journal, every time you choose reason over automatic reaction, you are laying a brick in that fortress. The 30-day journey, or whatever period you define to apply these principles intensively, is a laboratory. It's a period to observe, test, learn. It's not a magic deadline after which all your doubts instantly disappear. It's a period to build the foundation for lasting clarity. During these days, you will apply the principles consistently. In the morning, before the noise of the world and your worries invade, a few minutes of focus. Simply breathe, be present, anchor your mind. During the day, when a situation in the relationship arises that causes you discomfort, a doubt, a spike of anxiety, pause. Use the journaling method mentally or on paper. Fact, interpretation, emotion. Question your interpretation. Is there another way? What would be the interpretation most aligned with reason and objective reality? In the evening, review the day. Where did you act based on emotion, fear, the desire to control the uncontrollable? Where did you manage to apply reason, courage, temperance? Where were you fair to yourself and to her? It's a continuous practice of self-observation and correction. And this is where you start to see the signs that your eyes, clouded by emotion, might not be able to see. Because now you are looking through a different lens, the lens of reason, of virtue. The signs are not isolated events, but patterns of behavior, communication, values. Seen under the Stoic light, these patterns reveal compatibility, or the lack thereof, on a deeper level than simple attraction or common interests. You begin to notice, for example, if the dynamic between you promotes mutual growth, or if it constantly drags you down into patterns of conflict, resentment, or stagnation. This is not a value judgment about her, but an objective assessment of the interaction between two people. Stoic wisdom helps you see if you share a base of fundamental values, a moral compass. It doesn't have to be identical in everything, of course, but is there mutual respect for the principles each considers important? Is there a willingness to act with justice and benevolence towards each other, even in moments of disagreement? Temperance helps you see if the way you handle difficulties, pressure, reveals an ability for self-mastery and reason, or if one or both constantly give in to impulsivity, anger, victimhood. Courage shows you if there is a mutual willingness to have honest and difficult conversations, to face problems head-on, or if there is a tendency to avoid, to hide, to sweep things under the rug. It is important to understand that Stoicism does not give you a ready-made list of signs she is not for you. It gives you the ability to discern for yourself, with clarity and reason, what for you, based on your values and your pursuit of a virtuous and tranquil life, works or doesn't work. It helps you see if the relationship supports you on your journey to become a better man, or if it constantly distracts you from it. If the dynamic with her encourages you to be wiser, more courageous, just, and temperate, or if it constantly challenges your ability to practice these virtues, not in a way that promotes growth, but in a way that wears you down and pulls you away from who you want to be. You start to see, for example, if communication is based on honesty and respect, justice, or on manipulation and resentment. You see if decisions are made with reason and mutual consideration, wisdom, justice, or out of impulse and selfishness, lack of temperance and justice. You see if there is a willingness to face problems head-on, courage, or a constant avoidance. And this clarity, my friend, is liberating, but also terrifying as hell, because it shows you the truth. And the truth can be uncomfortable. It can show you that what you idealize doesn't exist, that the person you wanted her to be is not the person she is, that the dynamic you wished you had is not the real dynamic. And this is the part where courage needs to be your greatest ally. The courage to accept what you see, the courage not to cling to illusion, the courage to recognize, perhaps, that despite love, attachment, history, the relationship, under the cold light of Stoic reason and virtue, is not the path that will lead you to your own tranquility and flourishing as an individual. And this is not a failure of hers. It is not a failure of yours. It is simply reality. Two people, no matter how much they care for each other, simply may not be compatible on a fundamental level to build a life together that is rich in virtue and inner peace for both. And seeing this, accepting this, is an act of profound wisdom and courage. This is where the practice of premeditatio malorum becomes relevant, the premeditation of evils. It sounds gloomy, I know, but it's not about being pessimistic. It's about being realistic and mentally preparing yourself for the possibility that the things you value and that are outside your control can be lost. In the context of your relationship, this means contemplating the possibility that it might end, not to attract the end, but to strengthen you in the face of the possibility. To recognize that the end of a relationship, however painful, is an external event. It is something that, to a large extent, is outside your direct control. You control your decision to stay or go, but not hers, nor the circumstances that may arise. By contemplating this possibility in advance, You strip away some of its power to terrify you. You think, okay, if this happens, what will I do? How will I act? According to my virtues? How will I face the pain with wisdom and temperance? How will I be fair to myself and to her during the process? This mental preparation does not make you indifferent to the pain, but it makes you more resilient. It reminds you that your happiness and your inner peace do not depend on the continuation or the end of the relationship, but on your own ability to act with virtue in the face of any outcome. It is training for the soul, a reinforcement for the inner fortress. During these 30 days, as you apply these principles, you are not just evaluating the relationship, you are transforming yourself. You are becoming more aware of your own thought, patterns and behaviors, more capable of dealing with your emotions, more aligned with your values. You are building a solid foundation within yourself, and this foundation is unshakable. It does not depend on external factors, like the state of your relationship. It depends only on you. It is an investment in yourself that pays dividends of peace and strength, regardless of what happens outside. And that is the great beauty of Stoicism. It equips you to live well, to be a good and strong man in any circumstance, whether in a flourishing relationship, a relationship in crisis, or alone. Your tranquility becomes an internal possession that no one can take from you. So, as you navigate these days, applying the tools, contemplating the principles, observing the signs that emerge from clarity, remember the bigger goal. It's not just about having a binary answer about her, it's about becoming the kind of man who is capable of seeking the truth, of facing discomfort, of acting with integrity, and of finding peace in his own conduct. It's about becoming self-sufficient in terms of inner well-being. And this self-sufficiency, paradoxically, makes you a better partner if the relationship is going to continue, because you will not be seeking validation or security in her that can only come from within. And it makes you stronger if the relationship comes to an end, because you will know that your happiness did not leave with her, but resides in your own soul. It is a path of deep personal empowerment, a journey to regain control over the only thing you can control, yourself. And this journey, this pursuit of clarity and strength, does not have to be a lonely one. Other men have gone through and are going through similar challenges. Learning from experiences, sharing difficulties and victories, this strengthens everyone. If you are finding value in this perspective, if this idea of building an inner fortress resonates with you, if you feel this might be the compass you need, then be part of this community. Click the like button. Show that this message is important. Leave a comment below sharing what your biggest difficulty is in this process of seeking clarity in your relationship. Your doubt, your struggle, might be exactly the same as someone else's, and sharing helps everyone. And if you want to continue exploring how to apply this ancient wisdom in your life, in all aspects, not just relationships, then subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Don't miss the next steps on this journey of self-mastery and inner strength. We are in this together, building this fortress brick by brick. As you progress through these 30 days, or whatever time it takes for clarity to begin to manifest, you will notice that uncertainty does not completely disappear from the external world. Life is inherently uncertain. People are inherently complex. But what changes radically is your reaction to uncertainty. Before, uncertainty was a threat, a source of paralyzing anxiety. Now, with Stoic practice, uncertainty becomes a fact, to be managed, not a monster to be feared. You learn to tolerate not knowing about the future of the relationship because your tranquility no longer depends on knowing. It depends on acting virtuously in the present, with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. You focus on what is under your control, how you behave today, how you communicate today, how you treat yourself and her today. And this shift in focus, from the uncontrollable to the controllable, drastically reduces anxiety. It's like unloading a giant weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. The clarity that emerges is not a magic answer that solves all problems. It is the ability to see the problems and realities with clear eyes. And this clear vision empowers you to make informed decisions based on reason and your deepest values, and not on panic or a desperate desire for security. You may discover, for example, that the signs reveal a fundamental incompatibility. That, no matter how much affection there is, the direction your lives are taking, or the way you handle challenges, does not align with your pursuit of a virtuous and tranquil life. Seeing this is painful, yes, but it is a clean pain, the pain of truth, and this pain is infinitely preferable to the chronic, corrosive pain of uncertainty based on illusion and denial. And if clarity points in that direction, Stoicism equips you to handle separation with dignity and reason, not with resentment or despair, but with acceptance of what is outside your control, the end of the relationship, and focus on what is under your control, your own conduct and recovery. It is the practice of amor fati in action, loving your fate, not in the sense that you like something bad to happen, but accepting the reality that presents itself and finding the strength and opportunity for growth in it. The end of a relationship seen in this light is not just a loss, but an opportunity to reaffirm your values, to practice resilience, and to direct your energy towards building a future aligned with who you want to be. On the other hand, clarity may reveal that despite the difficulties and doubts, the relationship is a path worth pursuing, but perhaps in a different way than you idealized. Maybe the signs show that the problems are not fundamental incompatibility, but poor communication patterns, unrealistic expectations, yours or hers, or areas where both need to grow. Stoic clarity helps you see this without the distorted lens of anger or disappointment. It allows you to approach these challenges with wisdom, understanding the dynamic, courage, having the difficult conversations, justice, treating her and yourself with fairness, and temperance, staying calm and rational. Stoicism is not a recipe for a perfect relationship, because perfect relationships do not exist. It is a recipe for being a virtuous person within a relationship and for evaluating that relationship with clarity and reason. If clarity shows you that there is a solid foundation and a mutual willingness for growth, then the journey continues with a new foundation. A foundation of honesty, mutual respect, and a shared, though implicit, commitment to virtue and reason. This application of Stoicism to relationships is a powerful example of how this philosophy is not just about enduring hardship, but about flourishing through reason and virtue in all areas of life. It's about building a good life, a meaningful life, that is not held hostage by external circumstances. And the beauty is that this journey of self-discovery and strengthening does not have an endpoint. The 30 days are just the beginning of a new way of living. The practice of focusing the mind, of separating facts from interpretations, of contemplating the virtues, of preparing for the uncontrollable, continues. It becomes part of who you are. And the more you practice, the stronger you become, the clearer your vision becomes, and the more unshakable your inner peace becomes. Think about the transformation. You started with a weight on your chest, paralyzed by uncertainty, a hostage to your emotions and fear of the future. And through the disciplined application of time-tested principles, you are building a solid foundation within yourself. You are learning to see reality with clarity, to deal with your reactions, to act based on reason and virtue. You are becoming the master of your own interior. And this mastery gives you the freedom to make decisions in your relationship and in any area of your life, not out of impulse or fear, but out of conscious choice aligned with your deepest values. You are no longer at the mercy of the tide. You are navigating with a reliable compass in hand and a sturdy boat you built yourself. This 30-day journey is intense. It will challenge you. It will make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself, about relationships, about happiness. There will be days when you want to give up, days when the fog seems thicker than ever, days when emotions will drag you with overwhelming force. This is normal. This is part of the process. The internal resistance is your ego fighting to stay in control, to cling to old patterns, to the comfort zone, however uncomfortable it may seem from the outside. But remember the golden rule: return to focus, return to the pause, return to observation without judgment, return to separating fact from interpretation. Every time you do this, even if only for a minute, you are reaffirming your commitment to reason and virtue. You are strengthening that inner muscle. And the beauty is that this strength, this clarity, this peace you are building radiates outwards. It affects how you interact with the world, with other people, and yes, with the person by your side in the relationship. Even if the final clarity leads to separate paths, the way you arrive at that conclusion and how you act from it will be radically different. It will be with dignity, with respect for yourself and for her, and with a serenity that only comes from knowing you acted with integrity and reason. If clarity leads to a deepening of the relationship, this new phase will be built on a much more solid foundation of honesty and self-awareness. You will be present in a more genuine way, less burdened by expectations and fears. It is fundamental to understand that Stoicism does not turn you into an emotionless machine. This is a common misconception. Stoics felt emotions, of course they did, but they trained themselves so that emotions did not control them. So that reason was the guide, not passions. You will still feel love, sadness, joy, perhaps even jealousy or anger at times, but you will not be a slave to these emotions. You will be able to observe them, understand their origins, often in irrational judgments, and choose how to respond to them instead of reacting impulsively. This is true emotional freedom, and this freedom is essential for clarity in a relationship where emotions are so complex and intense. So, keep going. Day after day, practice focus, practice fact-based journaling, question your interpretations, contemplate the virtues, prepare for the uncontrollable, observe the signs through the lens of reason and virtue. Don't be afraid of what you might find. The truth, however hard, is the only path to true peace, and the strength you gain in the process is a reward that transcends the fate of any relationship. It is the strength of being a man who knows himself, who controls himself, and who lives according to his highest principles. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You have shown the willingness to face one of life's most intimate and painful challenges with a new perspective. That in itself is an act of courage. This journey doesn't end when you have the answer about her. It continues as you seek to live a life of reason, virtue, and tranquility. Use the clarity you are building as a guide, not just for your current relationship, but for all your future relationships and for how you relate to yourself. The inner fortress you are building is your safe home in an inherently uncertain world. And remember, you are not alone in this search. Thousands of men, throughout history and in the present, seek this same fortress. Share your journey. Leave a comment. Your experience might light the way for another. Like the video to show that this message is powerful and needed, and subscribe to continue receiving content that helps you build this life of strength, clarity, and purpose. The path to Stoic tranquility is a constant journey, a daily training of the mind and character. But the reward, inner peace based on reason and virtue, is worth every ounce of effort. The clarity you seek is within your reach. Start now. The first step is the willingness to look inward and apply reason where before there was only emotion and uncertainty. You have the capacity. You have the tools. Now it's time to act, to build, to become unshakable. The path is before you. Take the first step, and then the next, and the next. The fortress awaits you.